Listen up. Here at Sandbox, we stand on whatever we call, whether we call it right or we call it wrong. So even though your boy has a Pats team that's don't get up against the Jets, I'm standing on it and I'm standing with my squad. But you know what? I'm going to just kick it to Maul to let him talk about that game because this is his time to get his flowers.
Well, why not, right? You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to the Jets. It was a smackdown, boy. I think we beat y'all by about 21 points. And if I am not mistaken, the last episode I did say specifically that New York Jets is going to win by 21 points. And it was a spanking, man. Aaron Rodgers was in the house. It was almost like we've gotten to our New York Jets of a championship over the course of the past few years, because we haven't beaten the Patriots. Let's just say that we've been 15-1 over the course of the past few years, maybe decade plus, you know. But it was glorifying, man. And actually, I was at that game. It was crazy, man. Aaron Rodgers' first home game back from the torn Achilles. After the 4 plays, man, it was really like his first home game as a Jet, and he was mixing it up, man. I think he hit about 7 different receivers, and everybody was doing what they were supposed to do, man. Offensively, defensively, and special teams. Everybody was hitting on all cylinders, and that's what we did, man. We just played Jets football, man. Jets football, man. You already know.
Yeah. Listen, Ramondre Stevenson had 6 rushes. Next time we see you, that's not happening. I'm sorry. I understand why we want to, take our time with the kid, especially with how much the young cats have looked. But Jacoby is awesome for taking a beating that he isn't getting up. But bro, you gotta test the defense. Throw the ball down the field, and when you do it effectively. I'm sorry. I think the next time we play this Jets team, it will be with Drake May out there. Don't you worry about that. And it's going to be in New England. It's going to be a different story, but shout out to the Jets, bro. Shout out to the Jets. I'll give you that. Shout out to the Jets.
You already know.
But, like I said here at Sandbox, we are a fantasy and betting podcast these days, fellas and ladies, and anyone else that's tapping in. So, you probably have been involved in a fantasy season this year, in the fantasy league. And man, it's been a weird start to the year. So what we want to do, we know it's early, but we want to do a redraft. And we're going to call this, Run That Back, Turbo. We're going to run it back and see, given what we know now, how the first round in a 10-man league would have went. What you think about that, Mo?
Let's do it, man. It's going to get real spicy, man, but let's do it.
Hey, we're going to go back and forth, right? I'm going to go there and you're going to go back and forth. I'm going to start it off with the new first overall pick. I got to go with Mr. Bijan Robinson, and I'm going to tell you why. Not only has Bijan averaged 15 points a game this season, he's averaged 15 points a game. He's only gotten the end zone once. The usage in that offense is crazy, bro. Not to mention, their schedule is the easiest in the league this year for running backs especially. He gets so much usage. If you watch him run, I don't think it would be far-fetched to say he's the best running back in football right now, just from a skills perspective. And the usage is so high, and that offensive line is high. And they're only going to get better. As you watch Kirk play more and more day by day, he only gets better as the games go and as the seasons go. And they get more comfortable, and Bijan's going to take off. I'm not going to be surprised if he's going to be the number 1 player in fantasy by the end of the year. Give me Mr. Bijan Robinson, the number 1 pick.
Wow. The disrespect. I was actually waiting to draft Bijan later on in this mock here, but the disrespect. Because I'm going to go at the number 2 pick, the real number 1 running back in the league. Man out of Secaucus, New Jersey, man. I'm gonna go Breece Hall. Breece Hall with my number 2 pick. And the reason why is because we're talking about usage, right, Chris? We're talking about usage. Let's get it right. Breece Hall has had a touchdown in every single game this season. Let's talk about it. He's also uh, arguably second in receptions in the team right now, and he's our leading running back with a dynamic rookie running back that we already have. Brees Hall is the man. He's averaging about 18 points a season this year again, and he's got a touchdown every game, maybe even two. He'll throw that at you. So there you go, man. Brees Hall was my number 2 pick.
Look, I am mad at Brees. I am mad at Brees. But what does stick out to me is Braylon Allen is starting to become a factor in that offense. And Brees is getting his, but Braylon Allen is starting to get his too. So, in my list, I had Bijan and then Brees, so I am mad at you. But for the number 3 pick, not necessarily a blast from the past because the gentleman ain't that old, but the way Mr. Saquon Barkley has been playing, bro. So here's the thing with the picks. It's not just the fact that Saquon has been awesome. It's not just the fact that he's currently the number 1 player in fantasy. But realistically, the running backs in fantasy this year, bro, have been weird. Like, the top guys haven't played all that well. It's been kind of a big disparity between the top guys and the bottom guys. But Saquon still does Saquon things. So I think you got to go 1, 2, 3 at running back if you were to do this redraft.
Yeah, I am not mad at it, man. Saquon has been balling this season, man. He had, I believe, I'd say one off game, and that was last week. But he's been balling. But with the number 4 pick, this guy is always within the realms of being a top 5 to top 10 pick anywhere in fantasy. So it's no hiccup and it's no mistake here. I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson, man, and I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson because of Sam I Am. Sam I Am has been balling, and Justin Jefferson has also gotten a touchdown every game this season. And with a down Jordan Addison, I believe Jordan Addison is still hurt. Justin Jefferson is the main guy and the second guy as well. So I'm going to go Justin Jefferson with the number 4 pick.
Hey, man, we clicking on the same accord because I would have went Justin Jefferson with the 4th pick too. Because listen, it's not just the fact that he's been producing. It's the fact that this entire team is firing on all cylinders, and there's no reason to believe that it's going to taper off. Bro, I watched him play the Texans the other day, and they were letting him get free releases all up and down the field. I'm like, bro, what we doing? Right. You got to at least jam Jetta. Like, you got to throw somebody over the top. Justin Jefferson's been awesome. So I give you that. This next pick, one might say a surprise, people. I don't think so at this point. Truthfully, I think this guy would have gone way higher had we understood that he might not get suspended this year. And I'm going to go with Mr. Rashee Rice. And I'm going to tell you why, bro. The target share in that offense that he's getting, my thing going into fantasy this year, with all of my leagues, I had this one mentality. I had to get a Chief, and I had to get a Bill. Reason being, I need to get guys on the best offenses in football. And if you were able to get Rashee Rice, bro, a lot of fantasy managers, especially that drafted Kelsey, are really frustrated right now because Kelsey is not getting the production. And a lot of people say, is it Taylor? Is he distracted? No, bro. Rashee is running all of Kelsey's routes. Rashee is running all of Kelsey's routes in the middle of the field, and he's doing it faster, and his yards after the catch have been ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the number 1 receiver in fantasy by the end of the year, should he stay healthy. Bro, 14 targets from Pat Mahomes? I'm not saying you're going to get that every week, but you get close to that and you're a number 1 receiver in fantasy. Give me Rashee Rice.
I like Rashee Rice. He was definitely going to be in my top 10. And at the receiver position, he has been balling, man. But, I got to throw another receiver in that fold. He hasn't been a surprise to many, but where he is now in fantasy, it might have just caught some eyes for sure. I'm going to go with the guy who is also, like I said, touchdown gives you points. He's gotten a touchdown every game this season. He seems to be Baker's number 1 target right now. I'm going to go Chris Godwin, man. Chris Godwin has been balling. He's averaging about 20-plus points. Right now, I believe, at the end of this week, he is ranked either top 1 or top 2 receivers in fantasy. Not a surprise to many because Chris Godwin, we know he is elite, but this early on being a number one receiver, yeah, man, I'm giving Chris Godwin that nod at the sixth pick.
Woo-wee. Hey, I tell you what. I thought Rasheed Rice would have been a shock, but Chris Godwin that high? Look, I ain't mad at it because right now, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Godwin is the number one receiver in fantasy, just based on the stats that he's put up. And he's been a shock to me, bro, because look, coming into this year, who do you think Baker's number one was going to be?
Mike Evans, of course.
Mike, because Baker's a gunslinger, and he was throwing Mike bombs all last year. But I guess Dave Canales leaving that offense made that offense be more slot focused. So shout out to all of you managers that took up on Chris Godwin, and you got a discount because Mike went way higher in this year. With this next guy, I was avoiding him like the plague. So what are we on, number 7?
Yeah.
With this next guy, I was avoiding him like the plague. Reason being, in that offense, there was too many mouths to feed. He was kind of boomer bust last year. But again, that running back position has been so weird. And if I could get a guy that has a production like he has, that has the hands like he has, I cannot pass on a Mr. Devon Achane. I'll tell you what. Shout out to all the managers that drafted Devon Achane this year. Because I went into the draft saying I'm not drafting him in any of my leagues. I was overthinking it. I'm like, well, he's got Mostert. They just drafted Jalen Wright. He's got, Tyreek. He's got Jalen Waddle. And frankly, he's been awesome, regardless of who is at quarterback. You got Tua that was out there, he was balling with. Hey, Skylar Thompson was out there, and this guy is running routes in the middle of the field. He's got hands. He's got the same speed as all these other guys when he's get the ball in his hands, and he's going to get so many more opportunities now with Tua out. I got to go with Devon Achane at that 7 pick, and I can't miss on this again.
I love Devon Achane, man. And to be honest with you, with Tua out, like you said, it's gonna be very different. And that offense is gonna feed off of their running back play. Is Raheem Mostert hurt right now?
Yeah, he is.
Hey, for whoever got Devon Achane, man, shout out to you, brother or sister, whoever y'all are on that fantasy team, man, that got Devon Achane. He's been balling. But for the number 8 pick, I gotta go back to the green and white, because this man has been balling as well. And as you mentioned with Devon Achane, he's in an offense with a lot of mouths to feed. The New York Jets, man, and I'm not going Garrett Wilson. I'm going Allen Lazard.
Oh my gosh,
Allen Lazard. Hey, it might be a shock to you, but if you look at numbers, Allen Lazard has also. Let's talk about touchdowns. Allen Lazard has also gotten a touchdown every game this season, and right now he is ranked as a top 5 receiver in fantasy football. So big shout out to the green and white, Allen Lazard. It's a surprise to many, of course, because he is probably the 5th or 6th, 7th option to many in that Jet offense, and he has been the number 1 receiver on that team, and also a top 5 receiver in fantasy. So I'm going Allen Lazard, Aaron Rodgers' favorite target right now.
So here's the thing. We here at Sandbox love hot takes, but we also love credibility. You going to lose all our credibility talking about some Allen Lazard at number 8?
Allen Lazard. Hey, just if you got a fantasy league going on right now, go in your fantasy team and then look at players and then do a search on Allen Lazard, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Money makers.
Hey, man. Hey, if you take Allen Lazard in the first round, I'm cooling. But, hey, I ain't going to lie. He's been playing well this year. Shouts out to him. And, frankly, I think we talked about it last week, if I'm not mistaken. But it might be time to start making moves off of Garrett Wilson, guys, because Allen Lazard has been balling. I'll give him that. He's been balling in that offense. But, hey, shout out to him. With the number 9 pick, as we start to round this thing out, this was another guy I avoided with the plague, like the plague. Woo! This was another guy I said I don't want no parts in, and it's not at all because of his talent. It's because of his quarterback. I can't trust Daniel Jones, but man, can I trust the Mr. Malik Neighbors? Goodness gracious. If y'all want just just poetry in motion. Y'all want to watch just poetry in motion? Go ahead and look up a highlight tape of that young man versus the Browns, and frankly, every other team he's placed. I just remembered he is currently the number one receiver in fantasy. Not Mr. Chris Godwin, but Malik Neighbors is currently the number one receiver in fantasy, and with good reason. Not only is he balling, not only is he super athletic, not only has he performed every game, but he's also got a 38% target share. I don't know if there's another receiver in fantasy that's doing that. Like, there's no reason to believe that his targets are going to slow down. And the man is actually one of the best receivers by way of skill that I've seen in the league today. Shout out Malik Neighbors. You're going number 9, sir.
Yo, Malik Neighbors is elite.
He's different, bro.
Malik Neighbors is elite, bro. I mean, just the Browns' the 2 touchdowns was just insane. The 2 catches that he made was
My
insane.
gosh.
He is he's elite, man. Shout out to Malik Neighbors. Another guy that I was thinking about avoiding this season, but he just actually I was picked 10, and then I ended up getting him with my second pick on that rollover draft. Was worrisome about how it would end up, but things have been playing out, and with the quarterback play thus far in Indianapolis, I think they're going to definitely gear towards running the ball and utilizing that short pass option. And if you got Jonathan Taylor, man, he might be the best 10th pick that you might get right now with how everything else is just skitter-scatter. So I'm going Jonathan Taylor with that 10th pick.
I ain't mad at that, Maul. That rounds out the top 10. But look, here's my thing. I love the Jonathan Taylor pick. Is it time? I know this sounds crazy because we're really early. Is it time for Indianapolis to start maybe gearing up to take a quarterback next year? Anthony Richardson's decision-making has been horrendous. The brother's thrown 3 picks in every game. He's leading the league in picks with 3 weeks in. You got Shane Steichen. You got Michael Pittman. You got John. What you doing, bro?
Horrible. There's going to be guys that just want to leave Indianapolis pretty soon. Like Michael Pittman he's going to want to go, man. I think I heard some guys who drafted Michael Pittman that were just so upset at him. But guys, just look at what's going on. It's not him. It's not him. Anthony Richardson, he's been.
Man, you got some Colts fans out there that's gonna be like, he's still good to me, but nah, right, bro, he ain't it. Right. He ain't it. He ain't it. The brother's got it. Here's the thing. There's some cats that obviously we couldn't touch on in the top 10. There's obviously a lot of cats. We in this draft we didn't get Amon-Ra in the first round. I think he's still a first rounder. Jahmyr Gibbs I liked a lot too, but David Montgomery's still a part of that offense. But there's some guys that go after that are still some talent, but man, would you love to have a team like these guys that we've got in the first round this far?
Yeah, straight up, man. It's been really cool to see because of how people drafted, where the fantasy league projected people after the draft. It's been cool to see how that just went crazy. Just everything has been moving, and when you're looking at guys like, come on now, Dallas Goedert, he just had 30 points this past week. When is that ever going to happen again? We don't know, but shout out to those guys who capitalize on those picks.
That's for sure, man. Hey, I was going to kick it off, but considering what I did to people's pockets last week, how about you kick it off with a lock for the week, man?
A lock for the week. I got you, man. My lock for the week is, I'm going to, for another week, support the green and white, man. Denver is coming to MetLife. And hey, if you just want a little bit of money in your pocket, man, just shoot the money line and see what happens. You know what I mean? No, actually, I think we're going points under 38.5 points. Go over. Both teams go
more than 38.5.
Go over.
I thought y'all got the best defense.
Go over. We got the best defense, but we're going to run it up. We're going to run it up. You know why? Because Zach Wilson over there. We're going to run it up. You know why? Because Sean Payton over there. We're going to run it up. You know why? Because Sean Payton opened his mouth last year and said something about our offensive coordinator that our quarterback didn't like. Hey, you coming to MetLife? Hey, we gonna run it up. We gonna run it up. It's gonna be okay. Bet the over on the 38.5 because we gonna run it up. That's what's gonna happen. Bet the over.
Hey, shouts out to that game because that 30.5 line I thought was generous given the defenses. But hey, man, I've been wrong before, as you can see, and you've been the most right. So go ahead and lock that over in. But I got a fun one for you guys. This is one that I've actually been playing a lot more recently. And it's because it has such long odds, but you ain't asking for too much. Here it is. For the Bengals versus the Panthers, the Red Rifle is back out there and slinging, and the Bengals got to start putting up some points. So the bet that you guys are going to play, and thank me later, because when you see those odds, it's going to be a no-brainer. That each team will score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. Each team will score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. Like always, we're recording before the Monday night games, and I placed that bet for both teams playing tonight, for both games playing tonight. Each team will score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. The odds are going to be like plus 2,100, plus 2,400. You put $10 down and you could win $240 just like that. Play that with the Bengals versus the Panthers. You saw the Red Rifle the other day. Y'all saw how the Red Rifle was getting on. He could sling it, and Joe's going to have to sling it. That game going to be a shootout, and we're going to make you some money with that game, man.
I like it, man. I feel bad for Bryce Young, but I like it, man. Andy Dalton is what? He just turned the page for that Panthers offense. I like it. Go ahead.
Big shouts out to Andy Dalton. We are hoping for goodness for Bryce Young, but we're excited to see what's to come for that Panthers team, especially fantasy-wise. But hey, man, it's been another fun episode. Man, I hope you guys have been enjoying the pod, but I also hope that you've been enjoying the little hints of advice for your fantasy team and for your betting needs. As you saw in our last reels that we dropped, I was dumb wrong and Maul was dumb right. So hopefully y'all are locking in what one of us is saying and making some coin.
Yes, sir. I was right for sure. You know what I'm saying? I was about to say I was dumb right now, but I was right. You know, big shout out to you guys for listening in to our bets again. Like I said, tap into what we're saying because we making people cheddar and we love doing it. But big shout out to you guys. Tap in with us again. We love y'all, Sandbox.
Yes, sir. We love y'all, Sandbox. We out. Boom.